Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really speak Spanish that well. So, if you want to get the server, go to Project Epoch.net, I believe is the URL. You can download the server. The client, Project Epoch, see duplicate. You go to Project Epoch, project-epoch.net, go to how to play, download the client. They actually have a direct download for the client. Grab that, install the Epoch updater, run the updater, update the client. Make sure when you launch the game, you're launching the Epoch exe and not the WoW exe, and you should be good to go. Make sure you go to the website and create an account right here, and then you should be good to go. It's pretty late here. It is 1:09 a.m. And I did want to start off by going over a video that I actually found, another Project Epoch video. We can kind of look, we can watch a little bit and see that I thought was pretty interesting. It's very obviously this guy's very pro Project Epoch, but I think a lot of things he says in the video are pretty good. And actually, I actually went to the Mr. Pandaria client and created a hunter, and they actually have, I guess, the new character models on Mr. Pandaria, and they have the crazy hairstyles. So I created a really funny looking hunter just for the hell of it. We'll get back and maybe play this character a little bit, but first, let's go ahead. I want to kill the audio that's coming out of here. And let's check out this video because it's actually pretty good. I never heard of this particular YouTuber Venerio, but I think this video is nice, not bad.
Project Epoch is a Classic Plus server built on the Wrath of the Lich King 3.3.5 client, heavily modified to recapture the authentic vanilla World of Warcraft experience. There are a couple of iterations of Vanilla Plus in the market, like Turtle Owl or Season of Discovery, but Project Epoch seems to have learned from mistakes of previous servers and addressed the things that people didn't like. So, whether you're a returning World of Warcraft veteran or a curious newcomer, Project Epoch offers a fresh, challenging, and nostalgic take on classic WoW.
And one thing I could say is that Blizzard must absolutely hate all the amount of amount of stuff that Epoch, all the attention that Project Epoch is getting, because it is getting a lot of attention. Let's take a look at Google Trends. I'm actually really curious. If we go to Google Trends, let's do a search for Project Epoch, right? Yeah, it just over time. July 17th. Yeah, you can see here after that the interest is definitely on its way up. Yeah. But anyways, Blizzard must absolutely hate that Epoch is getting this much attention, and the developers, of course, didn't really expect to have this much attention. At least that wasn't the original goal of the original developer. But there's just so much. I mean, there's one thing we all know is that when it comes to MMOs, there's a big vacuum, there's a big emptiness, there's a big gaping hole, there's a black hole in the MMO landscape right now, where there just isn't a quality MMO that people can really sink their teeth into. Something, and World of Warcraft has been pretty much the biggest MMO around for forever. And people know it, they love it, they hate it. But the fact is, they all have played various versions or incarnations of World of Warcraft, and there's always been that option that a private server may come up that can create a Classic Plus experience that's good. And there's definitely a huge segment of the market that's looking for that. And I also think that because there is a big vacuum right now for like a really good solid MMO, I think even people that aren't like necessarily like Classic Plus Andes or super excited about Classic WoW, I think even them would be interested in Epoch, and I think they will be interested in Epoch. And I think if you just do a search on YouTube, you're going to see that there's a ton of videos. The one thing that can make Project Epoch absolutely take off is if some bigger streamers pick up on it. And I haven't done a lot of research into that yet currently, but let's Let's actually do that right now, just really quick. This stream is going to be all over the place, which is pretty much what most of my streams are. To become pretty harebrained, rapid fire in my thought processes. But actually, let's take a quick peek. I'm just curious if there's anybody like let's. The thing is, a lot of the bigger streamers are Twitch streamers, and if you are a Twitch streamer and you stream a private server, you can be very easily, you know, nailed for that. So you're not going to see like someone like Asmongold go on Twitch and stream like a private server. You're not going to see someone even like a Zaryu or some of these guys. But I'm just curious if we do a search for like Zaryu and Project Epoch. I'm trying to think of some of the bigger classic streamers or just like if you look like Epoch, all the videos that are coming up, there's a ton of videos that are coming up, but most of these like the Gray Classic. I mean, these are like Metrics. He's a huge private server guy. Doctor Doom, I'm not familiar with him. Big Musk, not familiar with him. Alex Sensual. Wait, who is this? Wait, let's just look at this real quick.
Hey guys, Alec Antwell here. This is gonna be a quick.
Yeah, this is so lame that he's trying to piggyback off of Alex Sensual. Who Alex Sensual, if you guys don't know who is, he's a total douchebag. Okay, Ivan Hard, Big Musk. So I'm not really seeing anything like success of Turtle Wow can no longer be ignored. I'm not a big fan of Metagoblin. I like Metrics though. Metrics is cool. McDoubles, he was a big Ascension person. Really was big into Ascension WoW. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. What about? Let's see if we can. Let's look for Asmongold. Asmongold's project. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I mean, just a couple searches. I'm not seeing anything. Again, I think it's because it's a private server. A lot of the bigger streamers are going to be a little bit nervous about trying to. They're certainly not going to stream it on Twitch because they could get in trouble for that. But there's a lot of like smaller content creators like myself that are, actually they're not. I mean, they're not that low. Like if you do, I mean, they're not. Actually, I disagree with you on that one. Let's just search for Project Epoch, right? I mean, 11,000 views to me is not really, I wouldn't consider that super low. Let's see, 1,900. Look at this. Why Project Epoch might be the best Classic Plus server, 51,000 views. That's a lot of views. 8,000 views. Yeah, well, of course, nobody's going to come watch my channel. 3,000 views. 8,000 here. Almost 9,000 views. Classic Plus. Muzzy's done a lot of videos. If you look at Muzzy, he's done a lot of videos for it. And let's take a look at his videos as far as like views. 8,000, 9,000. So, around 10,000 views, 14,000 views, 17,000 views. I mean, that's a pretty good amount of views. It's not huge, though. You're right. I agree with you, Ripoff. And actually, I'm kind of, in a way, I'm almost happy about that because I thought that it was possible that when this server launched, it might just be way too many people. And so far, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen like that much. Like when they did the stress test servers, right? The stress test, right? They did 2 stress tests. I was in the first one. The second one I couldn't go to because I was like at a funeral. But there was only about 2,000 people in the second stress test, which kind of surprised me. I thought there'd be around 5,000. So, yeah, but here's the thing. Again, I disagree with you, you ripoff, which is pretty common. I disagree with you a lot, but I love you. I love you, ripoff. But the reason I disagree with you is that I feel like if this server is good, it's one of the things. It's like you build it and they will come. I think if this server is good, word of mouth will spread, and I think it will grow. I don't think this server is like most other private servers. A lot of private servers are just replicating what has already been done, what is already there. Like when you looked at like Lights Hope or you looked at like Nostalrius, they were just putting out like a classic vanilla World of Warcraft. They weren't doing anything new, right? It was basically the game that we all knew and played. There was no new content really. Turtle Wow was the first one that really had a lot of new content that did it in a decent way. I don't want to say a great way because I mean some of the stuff they did was really cool, but the quality of it wasn't on the level of a Project Epoch. Project Epoch, the quality of the content they're adding is quite a bit higher in quality. Um, and you can see Turtle Wow. I mean, I don't think Turtle Wow has. I don't believe Turtle Wow still has the population chart. They used to have it, right? For the longest time. I'm not sure if they still have the population chart. I don't think they do. But Turtle Wow has been up to, you know, it got so popular there were like 14, 15, 16,000 people logging into their server. And they, it was crazy how many people were playing Turtle Wow. And Turtle Wow didn't start off like that. Remember Rip Off? Because I played Turtle Wow back when it first started. It had like 100 people for like years, not like just like a couple months. Turtle Wow literally ran for a couple years where there was literally only like maybe a couple hundred people logging in. The reason Turtle Wow grew over time was a lot. There's a lot of reasons for that, but part of it was because they slowly started to add more and more content to it, and as the content got better, word of mouth spread, and more people started to play it and realize, hey, this is a pretty good server. I think the exact same thing will happen to Epoch, but I think for Epoch it's going to be a lot faster because Epoch is a lot more of a polished product right now than Turtle Wow ever was, right? So it's not going to take anywhere near that amount of time for the word of mouth, the word of mouth to spread. You know what I mean? See, the problem is it's fairly niche. Um, but it's competing with. Well, I don't think. Again, I disagree with you. I don't think it's competing with Ascension because, and they're not. At first, I'd like to say the developers, like people who are behind Project Epic, aren't trying to compete with anybody. They've already said that. They're not. They're not trying to compete with Turtle Wow. They want other private server projects to be successful. They just are creating something that they wanted to create that was their own little project for fun. They were never trying to like. I mean, as far as I can tell, they're not even in it for the money. Like in one of the interviews with the founder of Project Epoch, they asked him about it. Are you going to have a shop? And he said, "Well, we don't know." We said maybe, but right now we haven't decided. So like, there's nothing about Project Epoch right now where they're asking you for money at all, which is really kind of rare. Like Turtle Wow has all kinds of stuff in there where they can make money off of you. You can buy bigger bags, you can buy cosmetics, you can buy so much stuff. Ascension WoW is way more egregious than that. I mean, there's Ascension WoW is a much more polished product than Turtle WoW, and it has tons of ways to get you to give it money. And Ascension WoW has made a ton of money. So, but I don't really agree with you that I mean, I do agree that it's fairly niche. I agree with that. But I don't think that it's competing with anything else right now. I don't think there's anything out there right now that that Project Epoch is really competing with because it's just too different. Like you can't really compare. Like to me, it's apples and oranges if you compare Turtle Wow to Project Epoch. Turtle Wow is on a janky 1.12 client. I mean, the client is clunky. There's a lot of lag spikes on the server. The custom content they've added is not the best. It's not bad. I love Turtle Wow. There's some great stuff, but if you log into Project Epoch, the game runs way better. It's a Wrath of the Lich King client. You're using basically like Burning Crusade type talent trees. They've already got like if they pull off most of the stuff they're saying, which I have no reason to believe they won't, based on what I've seen so far, based on some of the dungeons that they've already created and the quality of the content of those dungeons, I have no doubt that like the arena system is going to work. I have no doubt that the battlegrounds are going to work as they would in TBC, the Burning Crusade. So we're basically going to have a really cool PvP experience with basically kind of like a very similar like to the Burning Crusade type of system where when you first start, there's not going to be any arenas. There's going to be like a 2 week kind of period where people are going to be doing like Warsun Gulch, gaining some Warsun Gulch marks. They're going to be gearing up with some of the lower level PvP gear. Eventually, a couple weeks in, they're going to open up maybe some arenas, and then people are going to start getting to max level and doing like arenas. And there's going to be different seasons of arena seasons, and then you got all the custom content. So it's just I don't think you can really I just don't think you can compare it to Turtle Wow, and it's certainly you can't compare it to Ascension because Ascension's a whole other thing, right? Ascension Conquest of Azeroth is a steaming pile of dog shit. I mean, there's some cool stuff, but it's the quality of content of that is really bad. And Ascension, the main Ascension, is all completely different. That's a completely different game. I mean, when you're talking about the way you can have one character have all the spell, you can pick from any spell. Like you can have a priest running around with with stealth. You can have a priest running around with backstab. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a completely different game, so you can't compare it to that at all. So you are always such a glasses half empty ripoff. And I know I've told you this before, but you are always one of these like very like I don't want to say negative persons, but you're always looking at things from kind of a negative point of view. So it'll be there, but there's always you said there aren't trying to, but there's only so many players to go around within the custom WoW space. The problem is the the reason I disagree with you a little bit is that you're saying that it's a custom WoW space. Yes, that's true. But if you think about the space it's in, right? If you think about the void it's trying to fill, which is like kind of a classic plus experience, there's nothing out there that has polished classic plus content to the level that Project Epoch seems to have. Now, I'm not saying it definitely has it because I haven't experienced all of it yet. But from what I've seen, it seems to have very high quality custom content. The only other server that has that sticks to that retains kind of the vanilla feel. I mean, basically the feel of leveling through World of Warcraft as it was in 2004 is really probably Turtle WoW. And Turtle WoW has changed a lot over the years. Okay, you know, and I just to me Turtle WoW is the only one you could even closely compare it to. And I just think because it's on the Wrath of Lich King client and because the kind of the custom content they're putting in there and what I've seen from it and how well they did with like when you look at the images of the dead mines, I mean Turtle WoW has nothing like that. Like when you go to Project Epoch and you look at let's see. If you start looking at, you know, something like this, I mean, this is looks really, really good, right? Looks nothing at all like anything any other private server has ever done. No one has ever completely redesigned a dungeon on such a scale. I mean, the ceiling in this cavern, it always reminds me of the Goonies, right? The final ship, you know, this pirate ship in the Goonies. But no one's ever custom modified the world. I mean, Turtle WoW has done it a little bit. They definitely did do it, but to this degree and at this kind of quality, like when you look at these images, they're really nice. You know, this looks really solid. You know, the the detail looks really good, but look at the scale of it. They're using completely different textures here. These are not textures that were the wall textures. The stone texture here is not the same texture that's in the dead mines. So they've completely replaced textures. They've completely replaced structures and objects in the game engine. And I've never run this dungeon in Epoch, but from what I've heard, it runs very well. So, and we actually did. We were looking at the Glittermerk mines just yesterday. Okay, let's take a look at it again so you can see it. And it looks fantastic, right? So if you look at McDoubles, he actually has a video on Glittermerk Mines, Epoch, right? So we can find it real quick.
All right, guys, so today, encrusted crawlers. Dude, where did you get that Murloc? That creature model is what I was saying.
So this is the video of McDoubles go, and the interesting part about this video too is this was from 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, they had already created the Glittermerk custom dungeon, right?
That's insane. That's right. Get destroyed. Nice. Okay, here we go. Shadowcaster's Hood, intellect stamina, and increases your shadow spell damage by 15. Warlock and Shadow. So I said, okay, he says one more boss hiding into prisms in the stone, mostly.
And again, here, you can see they've added, this is all new stuff. I mean, a lot of these probably assets might have already existed in the client, I don't know. But they've added new bosses. They've added a whole new dungeon with new bosses, new encounters. There's mechanics. Like there's one part in this video where he has to go into the water and kind of kill all these like tentacles. And if he kills all the tentacles, it summons like a different boss. And then they've got to kill that boss. And let's take a look here.
Just running by. Wait, this might be the truly custom stuff. Maybe he TP'd me because it's truly custom. So first of all, yeah, I don't recognize any of this. Upper marshes. I see a watchtower. I see a city over there. And I see a burrow right there. Oh my god, what is going on?
Well, just the fact, that's another thing interesting too. Just the fact that it said upper marshes. Does if you go into WoW, like into TBC, does it ever say upper marshes in this area? I wonder. Well, it's just, but it's the thing is they've created over 2,000 new items, all these new quests. And again, I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to be a great project, but I'm very excited for Project Epoch. But what we're hearing, and we're going to go through some video here and kind of try to get a better feel for some of this stuff. But every zone has new custom content, right? Every single zone has new quests. So this truly is what anybody who's interested in Classic Plus would be looking for. So it is a niche project, like you said, because there's not going to be like a million play people out there, or even 20,000. Man, there might be 20,000, but there's not going to be a ton. But the thing is, the way the WoW community works is it's pretty, and I hate to say this, but it's pretty fickle. They tend to follow the streamers, and we've seen this before. Like for example, when Soda Poppin did the Only Fangs event, kind of event, right? How many people? You know how many people? It was much bigger than even I realized. You know how big Only Fangs was? It was massive. There were so many people watching OnlyFans content on Twitch. I mean, I'm talking, you're talking like 30, 40, 50,000 people. I mean, it was a big draw. And that was just sheerly because a bunch of streamers got together and said, we're going to do this. So what could make something like Project Epoch completely blow up would be just if a couple, it wouldn't take a lot. It wouldn't take a lot. And streamers go where the views go. They're going to go where something's going to get them more exposure, you know. Um, if you get somebody like Shroud, you get somebody like if you can get like Zaryu. Hey, what's up, Looney? How's it going, man? If you can get somebody like Zaryu, if you can get Alex Central, that's for you, Looney. You grab Cargos, you grab some of these classic Andes, you grab Guzu, and you get Showback, and you get some of these like streamers that are pretty well known in kind of the classic WoW community. And it won't take too many of them. Let's say you get 4 or 5 or 6 of them. You get 4 or 5 or 6 of them start to stream Project Epoch, and it will blow up. It will. I mean, that's not going to blow up in like a scale of like 100,000 people playing it, but it will definitely get to where you're probably looking at 10,000, 15,000 people playing, and that's a lot of people on one server, right? Alex is the only true man. Did you see? Hey, Looney, I was just looking. I just did a search for like Project Epoch, right? And there was a YouTuber called Alex Sensual here. And he just talk about trying to stand on the backs of somebody else, right? Look. Alex Sensual here.
Hey guys, Alcantual here.
Alec. How do you even say Alec Entual? Alec Entual, right?
Just this is gonna be a quick video, quick intro video about a little bit who I am, what are my plans, everything like that. I am a person that has played WoW on and off every expansion since Wrath of the Lich King. I'm somebody that likes to PvP, and I'm somebody that
I'm
likes to
sorry.
PvP. And
He's getting a thumbs down just because he's trying to stand back. He's trying to stand on the shoulders of the king, Looney. The king. We got to give him a thumbs down just because he's not standing on his own 2 feet, right? Would they risk going back to a private server after becoming big on official WoW? It should be illegal, man. I don't think. I tell you what, ripoff. Here's the thing. If you stream private servers on YouTube, the chance of you getting any kind of backlash seems to be really small. And also, I think what happens also, ripoff, is that there are plenty. I know for a fact there's plenty of those streamers that I mentioned that have played like Turtle WoW, for example. They just don't stream it. So it doesn't. So you don't have to. They don't necessarily have to stream it, but in their own private discords, they'll talk about it. Hey, I'm going to play this. Oh, and when you go to that server, once you go to that server, I mean, the community is pretty small, and the word spreads. So if there's a few people that are playing like on Project Epoch, the word will spread. And people will know that, hey, these streamers are playing on Project Epoch. And that's all it takes. And once that word spreads, that there's certain people that someone's favorite streamer, Showback, is playing on Project Epoch, and those guys all have their own private Discord servers. So, Showback's got a Discord server. Everybody's got a Discord server, right? So, yeah, they may not stream it because, like you said, they're worried about some sort of backlash, but they'll certainly play it. So, anyways, I do want to watch. I don't want to watch Alec Entual.
Lands for the Alliance.
Let's look at McDouble's video a little bit more.
Questing content. Okay, here we are in the wetlands. He points me to go this way. Okay, well, let's go check it out. Custom Alliance content. All right, let's keep going, guys. Let's see what it has to offer us. I'm seeing some torches that might lead to something.
Okay, well, this is not, none of this is custom content. This is all this was already in Vanilla WoW. This is the quest to get the banners, right? You kill these guys for the banners.
More orcs. Oh, I got TP'd. How come I got TP'd? Dragon Maw Outrunner just running by? Wait, this might be the truly custom stuff.
Yeah, now he finally got to the right area.
He TP'd me because it's truly custom. So first of all, yeah, I don't recognize any of this.
And this does all look like new content. I wish he would go to the world map so we could see where this is. You can see in the mini map though, I don't really recognize the mini map the way it looks. And also, I don't really remember walking anywhere in the wetlands where on the screen it says Upper Marshes. So that's interesting.
Upper Marshes. I see a watchtower. I see a city over there. And I see a burrow right there. Oh my god, what is going on? Okay, yeah, the Outrunners keep, outrunning, right? They're running away. Dragon Maw Blade Master. Zulamar. Oh, he made me fast too. Nice. Look at this. He created a city. A Dragon Maw Orc city right here in the mountain.
It's everything. And it's like, did you ever play that game, Looney? There's a game that you can go to where it basically it shows you like a part of the map in World of Warcraft, and you have to kind of it's a game where you have to pick where it is. Let's see, WoW game where you are shown a zone map and you pick the location. I don't know. There's a game. I can't remember where the URL is for it. Yeah. Okay, this is in right next to Sorrow Hill. Right next to Sorrow Hill in the Western Plaguelands. So it's in Eastern Kingdoms. And it would be, let's see, this is Altrock Mountains. It would be right about here. We zoom in. Right here. And I am correct. This is the walking path between. Oh, you have to leave. You got a meeting. I'll see you, Looney. Thanks for stopping by. This is one of the walking paths between the zones. I have to like make a guess. This would be let's see, Ironforge. Where's Ironforge? Oh my god. Stormwind, right? There's the airfields. It's going to be right about here. Oh, I am wrong. Where is it? Oh, okay, where is it then? That's gotta. I guess I'm wrong. It's the south one? That's what I thought. I thought it was this one right here. Right here? It says accurate 90%. So I guess I wasn't 100% accurate? I don't know. Ah, Ooh. Ooh. I'm not sure where this one is. I thought for a second it was the one in the wetlands, but there's the outhouse, and I don't remember the outhouse. I'm not sure where this one is. Unless it's the one. Yeah, but I don't know of this one in Swamp of Sorrows? Nah, it's got to be the wetlands. Yeah, I don't know where this one is. That can't be Swamp of Sorrows. Here, let's. I'm not. Dude, I'm surprised. It can't be swamp because I don't know of one. I don't know of like a crypt or like a whatever you call these. There's one of these in the wetlands, but it doesn't have this outhouse. Unless it's this map always throws me off because it's not. But anyways, where is Loch Modan? This is Loch Modan, right? There is one down here in Loch Modan on the water. Right here. Nope. Oh, that was mine. So it's actually here. No wonder I didn't know where it was. Wow, look at that. What the fuck? In Arathi Highlands on the coast. I don't think I've ever even been there. Now I want to go there just to look at it. Okay, this is weird. I've played WoW since 2004, and I don't think I've even been here. The Dwarven Farm in Arathi Highlands. I don't think I've ever been to that location. Shit, now we got to go there. Now we have to go there just to see what that is. Okay, well, it makes sense I didn't know where it was because I didn't. All right, this one looks like the in Ultrarock Mountains. Yeah, this is Ultrarock Mountains. So this should be right here. Bingo. Hmm. This must be like a horde location because I don't know where this one is. There's got to be some sort of horde location. Yeah, it's some sort of horde. I don't play the horde a ton, so I'm not sure where this one is. Yeah, I have no idea. I'd just be guessing if I threw something in here. Oh, that was pretty close. It was over here. The Ring of Valor. No, I wasn't too far off. Okay, this is the same as the other one, right? Okay, this is the northern one. Remember we talked about the southern one? This is the northern one. I believe. Ah, it was down here. Dude, I suck. Okay, this one I know. Bingo. Ah, guess not. All right, anyway, so it's not an easy game. I've actually done better. That was not one of my better chances on that game. I've played that game where I've done much better than that. But let's take a look at this content here. McDouble's walking through some of the Project Epoch stuff.
This is awesome, guys. There's a pig farm. Dude, this guy did his research. This guy actually did his research. If you don't know, pig farms were something that the old Horde kind of had, basically, in Warcraft 3. Maybe he didn't know that. I assume he did. We even have an entranceway right here to, like, the big old Great Hall. I think
Obviously, copied structure.
he has a Kang the Decapitator, actually. So that's pretty sick. What if he has a higher chance of dropping it? Wouldn't that be insane if he had a higher chance of dropping Kang the Decap? There's no way. He's a level 32 mob, but it would be a cute little Easter egg, even if it was like a 2% chance, dude. All right, he's dead. Nothing of value. Oh! It summoned the dragon. I am free. What the hell? I didn't have a quest or anything. Oh, this guy was actually a person. Wow, nice scripting. Spits on the corpse of Chieftain Necrosh. Lol. Oh my god. I thought the rat was following him. Please make the rat follow him. Just like change that, please. Oh, he says I'd follow. I'm following Dry Gooch. Dry Gotch. Dry Gotch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that seems like it was intentional. He TPs to a dragon. He flies away. He blows fire. Do I follow the Drake too? I mean, I guess why not? I'll follow the dragon. Okay, I'm still following him. I'm just looking up. I'm trying to stay right on his tail, literally. There he goes, Dry Gotch. Dude, this is insane. Like, this is how WoW is supposed to look. It actually reminds me of that MTL Media Northvale stuff. Because when it's bigger like this and you can see the roads and it's expansive, that is what every WoW player, or at least Warcraft player, thought WoW was going to look like, you know? WoW sometimes looks like that, but not all the time. Okay, I'm still following him. He's leading me down another road, and I'm seeing some Dwarven stuff now. Also custom, it has to be. Upper Marshes Burnderal. Looks like the orcs actually took this. Where'd the dragon go? He's right
Yeah, so this is more custom content.
there. Yeah, the orcs must have taken this
So the dragon's burning the cities here.
from the dwarves. This is so crazy custom, dude. All right, I'm going. Like, it's crazy because some people might save that guy and not even realize they could follow the dragon, but he tipped me off to follow the dragon. So you just never know what's going to end up happening. So now we're seeing Dwarven riflemen, just like the Warcraft 3 riflemen, fighting the orcs. Frantic refugee. Wow, guys, this is nice. This is high quality. Look at the mini map fleshed out. Exactly what you would want to see. Really, really nice, guys. Really, really well done. All the custom content, super, super well done. So it might actually be like, that's why it's weird that it's going to be war mode. Because can you imagine a horde and an alliance player questing? They find each other here when the orcs are fighting the dwarves, and then they start fighting. It's amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing. He goes all the way to Menethil Harbor. Wow, man, that is so nice. That's so well done. What does he do in Menethil Harbor, though? He disappears and then comes back still. That's amazing. So we're in Dun Gul'Dar again. Or some other part of it, actually. I do recognize stuff like this. It must be that even when TWoW was remaking this, that it was already here and just never fleshed out. And so Epoch's doing the same thing, because I recognize the farm. Wow, this is great, guys. Really, really well done. I love the waterfall. Of course, that might have already been there, but that's not the point. I just love the waterfall. We see Dwarven farmers right here. Nice. I'll show you one important thing up here in a second. Okay, let's run around until he does that. So we've got another entryway up here, but it's blocked off. Wow. A bunch of refugees, and they can't go through because apparently stuff fell through. and there's guard barley brew. And everything rhymes, because why not? This is awesome. Truly fleshing out the wetlands in a very impactful and awesome way. I guess because I played on the Horde on my Turtle WoW playthrough, I have to play Alliance on the Epoch playthrough, and we're definitely gonna have to come back here. Okay, I was TP'd. We're back in Zul'Amar. Follow the road, he said. Okay. Wait a second. What is that? What the hell? Dunagals. Wait, I knew what Dunagals was, and this
Yeah, let's see. Where is this at?
TP'd. We're back. Horde on my Turtle WoW playthrough. I have to play Alliance on the Epoch playthrough, and we're definitely gonna have to come back here. Okay, I was TP'd.
This is an interesting location because normally there's the cave right here, right? There's the cave with all the spiders. Like when you're going through the wetlands here, this is going to curve around and it's going to go over to the mountains here. There's usually a cave here that heads up into where the spider cave. So now he looks like he's on top of that area.
We're back in Zul'Amar. Follow the road, he said. Okay. Wait a second. What is that? What the hell? Dunagals. Wait, I thought I knew what Dunagals was, and this is what the hell? Dunagals.
There's the cave I was talking about. So there's the spider cave. But now he's moved over here. So he's definitely on top. So this is definitely an area you never normally would get to.
Wait, I thought I knew what Dunagals was, and this is not it. An instance portal that you can't go through? Is there gonna be a dungeon here, dude? Oh my god, there is. There's a summoning stone and everything here, of all places. In wetlands. Oh, man! That is sick! This is so sick! Well done, guys! A broken down Steam engine right here. 5-man level 60 dungeon. Oh, dude. This
5-man level 60
There's
dungeon.
a ram over there. There's some more orcs. There's an entryway over there.
And again, what's interesting about this video is it's old. I mean, this is from 2 years ago. So...
Oh, that's because that's the actual one that you actually get into when you're first coming in here from Lochmodon, right? Wow, a 5-man level 60 dungeon right here. Dun Algaz, or maybe it'll have another name. I see a red dragon whelp, so that could be a hint about what's going to be going down in here. Lost whelp. Okay, I think he's going to show me Stone Talon Mountain now, which I believe he's changed up a bit as well. So this was awesome, guys. Definitely worth looking at. Oh god, here we are. So, okay, he said go forward. All right, I'm going forward. So we're a little bit off the beaten path, some different custom stuff, seeing some Stonehenge looking stuff. Venture Co, they're back and they're in it to win it. Another instance? Oh my goodness, dude. This is a big deal. They're adding so many instances, or at least they have plans for it. And knowing how good they are, it's really exciting. Ancient Protectors, Dead Night Elves. No way they made something that looks this good. No way, dude. I don't even care that I died. He'll res me, but no way. What level? They're must be max level because there's question marks. Dude, this is so good looking though. He res me and everything's okay, but this is so good max level because there's question marks. Dude, they're adding so many instances, or at least.
So another instance. Okay, so Stone Talon Mountains. Obviously, this is the path that goes down to the Charred Vale. So normally there's nothing here. This is just like a cliff wall here. Yeah, I mean, you've got the wyverns here. You walk through here. There's usually some herbs up here, maybe a couple mining nodes. You walk down this way. You're going to see some basilisks and stuff. But this is just a wall. There's nothing here at all.
Looking at. Oh god, here we are.
So here, if you look at the mini map, they have completely carved out a pathway up into the mountain here. And this is kind of what Turtle WoW did to a certain degree. Like, where there were mountains on, like, if you look at any map in World of Warcraft, do we have this open yet? Here, let's go back. You open up any map in World of Warcraft and you look at the different zones in vanilla, you'll see like a lot of the zones there's a lot of areas of the maps that aren't really utilized. They're just like impassable. You can't get into those. So we created a really weird looking hunter here on Mr. Pandaria Classic on the Whitemane PvP server. Just to muck around with, because we're basically just waiting for Project Epoch to come out, guys. We got 8 days, right? My bug sack is throwing a bunch of errors right now because we have a bunch of add-ons. Look how long it's taking to load, which is insane because I've got a super fast computer. I'm not sure why it's taking so long. It's probably just all the add-ons.
After years of imprisonment within the Emerald Nightmare.
All right, let's. Yeah, it's just. Hold on a second. Let's just. Oh my god. Disable all. Boom. All right, so the reason I wanted to go into WoW. Feels nice and smooth. Looks different, doesn't it? So apparently this is, you can see the textures are different. This is Cataclysm Classic. Well, it's really still, yeah, it's Cataclysm Classic, but it's in the Mist of Pandaria pre-patch. So they do have them, I think the upgraded, the upgraded textures and stuff. But anyways, what I wanted to look at was the map. So if you look at, this is not the best map. If you look at any zone in World of Warcraft, you're going to see a lot of it's inaccessible. Like you can see here, there's all these mountain areas here. You could put custom content in these areas because there's nothing there really right now. So if you look at where he was in, let's see, Stone Talon Mountains, we really need to go to one where I have it opened up. So let's see if we can do that really quick. Let's just see if we can do that really fast. Let's go World of Warcraft Classic. Let's go a server where I've got some players, and that's fine. Shady Moon. Scree. Oh my goodness, that doesn't look right, does it? All right. So if you go into Stone Talon Mountains here, what I was trying to say was you can see that in the video, he's here. That actually is what looks to be here. Like they've carved a path into the mountains here. But what I was trying to say is if you look at any zone in World of Warcraft, there's lots of room for additional content. There's all of these mountains here, which there's nothing here. There's all of these mountains here, there's nothing here. There's almost a lot of the mountains here, nothing here. All this mountain range, there's not a whole lot here. If you look at some other zones, for example, here, there's this huge area over here, which looks like it eventually was meant to be something, but never was anything. In Turtle Isle, they actually have added content here. But there's this whole area here that you could add custom content. These mountains, you could add a few things. The airfield obviously was there, but it was never implemented in the original vanilla. It has been implemented in Turtle Isle, and it will also be, there's going to be some stuff in Project Epoch for that as well. Again, the wetlands, there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of rooms in the wetlands to add, to add stuff. Of course, Eastern Kingdoms, like I haven't explored that one yet. Netherguard Keep. There's room stuff here. You could put custom content. Yeah. But you guys kind of get the idea. There's definitely room where you could add stuff.
So, okay, he said go forward. All right, I'm going forward. So we're a little bit off the beaten path, some different custom stuff, seeing some Stonehenge looking stuff. Venture Co, they're back and they're, in it to win it. Another instance? Oh my goodness, dude. This is a big deal. They're adding so many instances, or at least they have plans for it. And knowing how good they are, it's really exciting. Ancient Protectors Dead Night Elves. No way they made something
His cheat death procced.
that looks this good. No way, dude. I don't even care that I died. He'll res me, but no way. What level? There must be max level because there's question marks. Dude, this is so good looking though. He res me and everything's okay. But no way. What level? There must be max level because there's
I'm trying to get a view right here. I want to get a view up here. So it looks like an interesting. It kind of is reminiscent of Ragefire Chasm, but cool. Like it's all custom. Like this is custom. There's no. I don't know of any caves in. And look at the mini map too. This all looks completely custom. I don't know of any caves in vanilla that look like this. That have these. The closest thing I can think of is like Wailing Caverns or Ragefire Chasm or something like that. But even that, they don't look like this. These stalactites are different in their structure. And the mini map, I don't remember a mini map that really looks like that either.
So good looking though. He res me and everything's okay, but this is so good looking. There's lava down there? I can't believe this is just in Stone Talon Mountains, which, by the way, is a pretty underdeveloped zone, even in Vanilla WoW. I don't like what they did with it in Cataclysm because it ended with, like, a nuke on Theramore or something like that. I just didn't like it, to be honest, because Stone Talon, if you played in Warcraft 3, all of this stuff is supposed to be so mystical, so deep, right? And there is an instance portal right.
There's 2 instance portals, so it kind of reminds you of, what's that other instance in Desolus? The one that I hate. I hate that instance in Desolus.
There. Holy crap. Wow, dude. I'm actually getting chills again. Because like I said, they don't even have to prove themselves. They've already done it. They're so good at making instances. Wow. What is this going to be? Well, I guess I can't go through it, but you can kind of see.
But look at how custom this is.
They don't even have to prove themselves. They've already done it. They're so good at making instances. Wow. What is this going to be? Well, I guess
right here. Look at how this doesn't look like anything in vanilla. Like with the lava here and like the stalactites and stalagmites. Even the texture looks a little bit different. That's the one thing that I really like about what Project Epoch's doing is they actually are changing the texture. So in World of Warcraft, everything is reused a lot. So like when you go into a lot of dungeons, you can find dungeons in Stranglethorn Vale that probably look almost exactly the same as a dungeon in Arathi Highlands. I mean, not a dungeon, but I mean cave. Like the cave systems, you guys know what I'm talking about. Certain cave systems just get replicated over and over. Like you might go into a cave in Ungoro Crater, which looks like a cave in Arathi Highlands, which looks like a cave in Ashenvale.
Yes, I can't go through it, but you can.
But this is completely new. There's nothing in vanilla WoW that looks like this.
Kind of see. This is insane. What is this going to be, though, dude? You can't go in yet, but that's amazing. Look how cool it looks in there. This is our version of Dire Maul? What does that mean? Is it literally going to be Dire Maul? He says dual-winged 60-man post-launch dungeon. Oh, okay. So it says they are actually going to release Dire Maul in its own, like, unique and custom form, but this is going to be a 5-man dungeon. He says not a 60 dungeon, so maybe in the 50s, right? The high 50s, maybe? That is so freaking cool. Look, there's a pillar right there. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. Okay, right, the high 50s maybe.
This is the kind of stuff everybody wants. Anybody who wants Classic Plus wants to see this. Like, I don't know how you can look at something like this and not get excited. Like, how can you not get excited for this? Because think about like what makes Vanilla WoW so good. What makes Vanilla WoW so fun? What makes it fun is that the world is very open. So it's you don't necessarily have to go in exactly the same leveling path. I mean, you have a lot of options. There are iconic dungeons that people love to go into, right? And they go into them over and over again because they like them so much and because they want to get certain gear. Now you're adding completely entire new areas into the game with completely entire new dungeons, which are going to have completely new loot. I mean, it just completely changes the landscape because everything about vanilla that makes it so good is all because there's so many different unique type of trinkets and I mean like item, rings and necklaces and the gear. There's all these different types of gear with different effects and on proc effects and and people have kind of min-maxed it to the point where everybody knows where everything is and what everything does. But now you're going to add all this new content with all these new items and gear items and the fact that there's going to be new stuff in the professions, the fact that there's going to be like the racials can be like swapped back and forth. All of these new things really completely change the landscape. Like nobody's going to know what the meta is anymore. The meta is unknown. So it just makes it so exciting.
That is so freaking cool. Look, there's a pillar right there. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. Okay, I gotta be honest. You know, Epoch, I still hope you guys do custom class changes. I'm not gonna lie. They don't have to be crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just really think it's a big deal. Based on that poll I put up, everyone else agrees. But you've already got me, and I can just guarantee you right now that you've got me by showing me all of this stuff. This is quality, my friends. Quality. Left takes two.
What's up, Manimal? Yeah. And McDoubles has got a pretty big channel. So if McDoubles covers this a lot, he's got 65,000 subscribers. I've known about McDoubles for a long time. Like I said, he's covered Ascension WoW for a long time. But, you know, he definitely has, there's going to be a lot of people that know who McDoubles is. And so if he's playing Project Epoch, which we know he will be, like that's kind of what I was trying to say to Ripoff. The Ripoff is if you just get a few fairly big streamers to really play this, it'll definitely help. And but I think the quality of this, which what we're seeing so far looks really good, will stand on its own 2 feet. It doesn't need anything else. You know, there's a big gaping hole in the MMO space, and whether or not you want to believe it, this does fill that hole more than I think people realize because of the fact that a lot of the content is custom. There's so many people who like one thing that was really interesting is if you looked at the anniversary WoW servers that they did, and even if you look at when Classic first released, there were so many people who had never played original vanilla WoW. There were so many people who'd never even played WoW. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I ran into people who said this is the first time I've ever played World of Warcraft, which always blew my mind. They'd played lots of other MMOs, like oh, I'm a fan of Final Fantasy player or Guild Wars 2 player, but I've never played World of Warcraft. So I do believe that this may start off as kind of a small draw for players, and it's going to be the classic Andes. It's going to be the people that like private servers. It's going to be the people that want Classic Plus, right? But if it's good and if the quality content is good, I do see it expanding pretty quickly and drawing in a much bigger audience. The fact that it's a private server will slow it down substantially because a lot of people, don't like to play private servers. Big streamers can't stream it on Twitch. That hurts it, stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. But it certainly is. It certainly is trending in the right direction. And it has all these good systems. My biggest negative for Project Epoch, my biggest negative is something I talked about yesterday on my Discord, which really was kind of surprising. What about add-ons for Epoch? My client. Let me see if I can find it really quick. And it was basically the cross-faction stuff that they have in the game, which was really surprising to me. And so, faction identity and grouping. This was really surprising to me. Calendar invites between players will be cross-faction. Basic chat features such as say, yell, emote, whisper will be cross-faction. That means you can whisper a horde character from an alliance character. Chat channels such as World General, etc., will be cross-faction. This is really surprising because now, if you're talking in World as a horde, the alliance can see what you're saying. Who lists will be displayed both factions. Adding friends will be allowed cross-faction. Expecting other players' talents will be allowed. This I really disagree with this one. I don't know. This is the one thing that I kind of have disagreed with on this kind of path. I mean, going down this path to me is very surprising. The only thing I can think they're trying to do is maybe trying to really foster like a better community overall between the Alliance and the Horde, which really hasn't ever been done before. We've never really played on a server where the Alliance and Horde could be so they could talk and interact, and they're even letting mail. You can send mail from a Horde character to an Alliance character. That is fucked up, man. That is so weird. The auction houses are everything's cross faction basically. Like you can group with a Horde character, right? Does it say if we can group with Horde characters? It doesn't say if we can group. The primary purpose of leaning into cross-faction features is specifically targeted at improving the world, ad hoc groups, and dungeon. I wonder if this was December 31st, 2023. It's, in the video where the original founder was interviewed or he answered some questions from the community, he never expected this project to be very big. He didn't think it was going to be like a lot of people playing it because it wasn't really like he wasn't trying to be like a big private server. He was just creating kind of a passion project that he thought would be really cool. You know, it was kind of like a hobby. So I wonder if this came about simply because, you know, of what he said here, you know, improving like kind of, you know, the grouping, making it easier to find groups to do things, because he thought probably the player base would just be so small. But now that the player base we know is not going to be small, I wonder if I wonder if he might want to rethink some of this stuff. But I'm not a big fan of a lot of this cross faction stuff. I think the auction houses being linked cross faction is cool. I like that actually. I think that's neat. Look, in person trading. Yeah. Anyway, so this was really surprising to me. Of course, the PvP is still right. Like there's, while we believe that is perfectly reasonable for a short-term collusion between adventurers of both factions and make perfect sense for simpler PvE content when it comes to battlegrounds, there's one simple fact that we feel should be prioritized. It's World of Warcraft. And the skirmishes out in the world at Orson Gulch, Rathi Base, and Alterac Valley, etc., should be explicitly viewed as a contest between the two factions. With that in mind, we have no intention to support cross-faction battlegrounds unless it is needed due to dire battleground queue times. So that's good. At least we know that when you're queuing into battlegrounds, it's going to be Alliance versus Horde, right? We do not expect that to be the case. With that in mind, so we do not expect that to be the case. So as a baseline, we consider this content faction specific. This should naturally lead to more hardcore focused PvP guilds remaining on faction boundaries. So, interesting.
Down in the Stone Talon Mountain, right up to the peaks. Oh my god, 2 separate instances, like he said. That is amazing. This is amazing. Like, really, really cool. This is really, really cool, dude. It's what I would have expected from freaking World of Warcraft when I played original Warcraft. Like, every time I say that, you know it's a big deal. Wow, 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 dude. Wow. Good job, guys. See, I didn't know about this. If he didn't show me this, I would not have expected this, because they're trying to make it to where you still have to discover stuff on the beta, which is all fine and dandy, like I said. But let's pretend you don't have the time right now to go super slow. You might not know. Tolbarad, we're in the middle of the ocean right now. This is something...
Okay, so this is the other dungeon. I think this might be a raid, actually. So if you go here, we've got some of the new zones. But if you go to the raids, we've got Nixia's Lair, Molten Core, Oldham. So it's actually not that. Dead Mines, Wailing Caverns. Okay, so I guess it's her Barradin Hold. So we have Barradin Hold, which is what I think he's going to show himself. And this is location is Tolbarad. And if you look, it says, for decades, the mystical fortress of Barradin Hold has stood in the Kirin Tor's most secure prison, housing some of the Eastern Kingdom's most dangerous beings. Now, this is basically on an island. So if you look at Barradin Hold, wow, Barradin Bay. See, this is the wetlands. So Barradin Bay is right off the coast of the wetlands, right? So, yeah, this is not what I want. But anyways, you can see the wetlands here. So this area right here is Barradin Bay, right? Yeah, right here. So what they did is they've got Tolbarad, Barradin Hold is in Barradin Bay on an island, which is going to be right in this area here by the wetlands, and by Menethil Harbor, and we can see here that's where he is. He's in this area here. Now this area here should be where that pirate ship is, I believe. No, actually, I take that back. That's not the case. This is actually an island, I think. I think this is going to be like an island.
That was originally, I believe, added.
You can see there's a little dock here, and I wish we could see more. I wish he would zoom out on the minimap.
In Cataclysm. I do remember doing the PvP stuff. I did enjoy it. Of course I did, though, right? They said, ignore the green texture. It looks like something missing in patch. Beta be beta. Yeah, totally, dude. Of course, man. So they have a meeting stone for it. We have an old Alliance fort up there, and then we have a cave, and we're in the middle, right below Hillsbrad Foothills, but in the middle of the water. So I go through the cave, and what do I see? A bunch of broken down stuff quite close to me. An old human-looking piratey fort. There's that old Alliance thing I talked about that we saw from down below, and that's where the instance is. This is day 1 launch, by the way. Wow! So this will be out on launch. Giant human fortress may not be entered at the time, but I was able to go under it, so thanks for that. Dude, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be like when you go in Skolamance, you know what I mean? This is sick, dude. Great job, guys. You should be so proud of yourselves. I know I said it in a previous video because, again, I love all the people that make private servers. If they didn't make them, I wouldn't have something to make videos on. But when people do things that are clearly above and beyond, it impresses me, and I hope I can, like, actually so proud of yourselves. I know I...
You can see the pirate ship or the ships. I like the light tower over here. The lighthouse.
I wouldn't have something to make videos on.
We got the cool looking lighthouse. And this is custom as well. I mean, it's similar. But this looks pretty custom. I don't think there's any lighthouses in WoW that look like this. There's smaller lighthouses like the one off the coast in the Westfall. And then I think there's one way off South Shore.
But when people do things that are clearly above and beyond, it impresses me, and I hope I can, like, actually get it across to you guys. There's a lighthouse, okay, so we're gonna go check that out. When the competence is this...
Yeah, see, look, and the having a little building attached to the lighthouse, I don't think we've really seen that.
High, you just have to love them. You have to love them. I want to give Katotes a hug, dude. Thank you for, like, bringing something like this quality-based out into the scene. Everything I've seen so far has been such an impressive thing to behold, man. So there's a bunch of piratey stuff, an old village. It could end up having maybe enemy NPCs in it or not. Could be allies, but probably enemies. And we have pirate ships in a harbor. Dude, it makes you feel like the potential for Epoch is limitless, man. Genuinely limitless. Could be a vendor right there someday. You just never freaking know. One thing I like about these guys is that they want to add mysteries. They want to add mysteries to the game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this video is like 2 years old. That's what's crazy. Actually, I don't think it's quite 2 years old. I mean, it says it's 2 years old, but let's take a look. So this video was May 7th, 2023. So it's actually more than 2 years old. So, but that just shows you how much they'd already kind of put together. And like you said, it's very classic feeling, right? There's no. It looks like it belongs in the original version of the game, right? So the quality of what we have seen, and like I've been in the stress test, I've been in the beta before. I've played in earlier betas of Epoch, and I've been around Epoch for a while, but I haven't personally experienced any of the dungeons that they've created. I haven't been in the new Dead Mines or anything like that, but I've seen I've seen videos of people who have, and the quality of it's really good. So. But it's been in production for a very long time, and I've been waiting for Epoch for a long time. I never expected... I mean, there was even a time when I thought it wasn't going to come out. I was like, man, I've been developing for so long. I was like, maybe this isn't even just ever going to come out, you know? I talked to Magic a few years ago. Magic and me and Magic would talk back and forth a little bit, and he told me, he even sent me a video. I don't know if I still have it. I'd have to find it. He sent me, like, I think it was a leak to his YouTube, because I think Magic's got a YouTube site where he basically was kind of going through the process. Yeah, he had a YouTube site where, let's see, I don't know if we'll be able to find it. Wow, custom content. Nah. But he had some videos that he had created where he kind of talked about how he was doing the character pathing and the NPC pathing for quest creations, because he was one of the earlier developers that was added. Then me and him had a falling out, and I don't remember what happened. I think what happened is I got drunk one night. I think this is probably what happened. If my memory serves, I think I was out drinking and I got drunk, and sometimes when I get drunk, I can be a little mean. And I think we had an argument about something, and I think he blocked me on Discord or something. I don't remember, because this was years ago. This was like this is probably like 2 or 3 years ago, but which is unfortunate, because I don't remember what the argument was about. Like, I'm just looking to see. Yeah, right. See, you can see that me and him used to talk back in 2023, but I can't see any of his comments because he blocked me, I guess. So I don't know what happened between me and him, but I probably spouted off something, or I don't know. I've got a pretty bad temper, and something happened. But you can see we were talking to quite a few years ago about the game, and Magic's one of the developers for Epoch. I wish I would know what I said to him, or maybe I could apologize to him or something. But Magic was telling me about how they created, some of the custom content, and I got to the point where I was like, I wasn't sure if this was ever going to come out, not Turtle, but Epoch. I was like, is this ever going to come out? Because they've been working on it for so long. I didn't realize they had added so many new developers and kind of people to the team. So now, because now when you go in here, they've got like 3 or 4 community moderators. If like right now there's nobody online, but a lot of times you'll see a lot of times you'll see like 2 or 3 developers online, like 2 or 3 or even 4 moderators online. So their staff is quite a bit bigger than it used to be. I don't think there's anywhere in here where they like list the members. Unfortunately, that would be something I would like to see. I have donated. I am like, if you go here to Project Epoch, it takes you to the GitHub, and you can become a sponsor. You can become a sponsor for Project Epoch. I want it to be a success. I don't think I use X. Anyways, but yeah, I'm a sponsor here, and you can see they've got 52. They had 53 yesterday, so they've lost one apparently. But they got 52 people who are sponsoring the project. And the interesting thing is they haven't really asked for any, like, there's no shop. Like when they talk to K-Totes about like, do you have a shop? Are you gonna have a shop? They're like, well, we don't know. We haven't decided yet. I mean, I'm sure at some point they are, but I don't think this definitely looks to me like it wasn't a project where they were doing it to make money, which is really rare in the private server scene. Most private servers definitely were done because they're trying to make money. When you look at Turtle Wow, I don't care what you say, Turtle Wow is there because they're trying to make money. And they do make a lot of money off Turtle Wow. And if you look at something like Warmane, the people who run Warmane and the people who run Ascension WoW, these people are making millions. I'm not even joking. They're making millions of dollars off these private server projects. Ascension WoW makes a lot of money, and there was an interview with the developers behind Warmane, and I think they had said that they, were pulling over like almost $1 million at one point in revenue in like a year. Maybe it was Ascension. One of them said that maybe it wasn't in a year, but they were pulling in a lot of money. It was, but everything I've seen about Project Epoch, it's not like that. They're not, so far anyway. It doesn't look like that he's doing it for the money, right? I wish I would have known what I did to Magic to piss him off.
That's it. You see a vendor, you see an item.
I guess I don't know. I think I remember having an argument with him, but I don't remember what it was about. And it was probably something to do with. Here's what I bet happened. I bet I came home from drinking late one night. I bet I was in a bad mood. I bet I messaged him and said, "When the fuck are you gonna put out this damn project because I want to play it?" And then he probably said something, and I probably said, "Fuck you." That would be something I would do. I don't even drink anymore. I quit drinking. I quit drinking a couple of years ago, so I don't drink anymore. And one of the reasons I quit drinking is because of that. Is because as I got older, because I'm older, as I started getting older, and this actually runs in my family. Same thing happened to my brother. We got to the point where whenever we drank, we just became mean. We got mean. We started to get really mean. We turned into mean people. And I didn't used to be like that. When I was younger and I was in college, I was, big party animal, drinker. I was one of the happiest people you'd ever meet. In fact, that was kind of my, when people who knew me knew that I was kind of, I was described as life of the party, super friendly, super happy person. And then as I got older, that started to change. And I think I don't know, I think that happens to a lot of people. You get older and you get more responsibilities. And as you go through life, certain things don't go your way. And like certain opportunities are missed. And I think one of the things that happened to me when I would drink is I would start to, the things that I didn't get to do in life, I would think about them. I always wanted to be a video game developer. There were things in my life I've always wanted to do, but now I'm 55 years old. I realize I'm not going to be able to do those things. I'm not going to be like a professional tennis player. I'm not going to be like maybe a professional musician. I'm not going to be like the video game. I'm not going to be the person who I really wanted to be maybe in this life because I just didn't get there, you know. And so when I would start to drink, I think those things would be in the back of my mind, and so I'd get mean, I'd get angry, and I think that's what happened between me and probably Magic. Because I probably was one of those times where I drank and I was just pissed at the world, and I took it out on him, and that was kind of like and this is like me opening up a little bit here just for the hell of it, because that's me, you know. Sometimes you're gonna hear me get on a soapbox and talk about my life because that's just who I am. But I don't really hide stuff about me that much. But that was kind of in the last few years before I quit drinking. That was kind of a recurring theme where I would drink and kind of take my anger out on the world, out on other people. And a lot of my friends started to get pissed off. And so that's, that's why I quit. You know what I mean? That's why I quit drinking. It's because I was just, I wasn't being a nice person anymore, you know? And so my wife helped me, to, hey, what's up, Alter? So my wife actually was a really good positive effect on me and, quitting that. Yeah, I would try. Well, he's got me blocked. So he's got me blocked. So maybe I'll put a post. Maybe I'll put a couple posts in there and, but I would like to reconnect with Magic because he was a nice guy. So Magic is one of the developers on the team. He's a super nice guy. He showed me some of the development process he was doing for the pathing of the NPCs and I'm a software developer. I write code for a living. I always wanted to be a programmer for video games, and that was kind of like coming out of high school. Really what I wanted to do coming out of high school was get a job in either computer animation or computer digital special effects or game development. Those were kind of my things. But I'm very artistic. Like my whole family's artists. My mother was an artist. My grandmother was a painter. My brother went to the Art Institute of Chicago. He was an artist. And my other brother was like a photographer. My sister's an artist. So my family's basically really big into art. And so I'm a very creative person. I play guitar. I draw. I can draw very well. I can paint. You know, I can play guitar. I can play trumpet. Can't play the piano. I always wanted to learn. Anyways, art runs in my family. So being a programmer wasn't really anything I really wanted to do. I mean, it was kind of like the third option. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be an artist or like a game designer. Like I always want like level design. I always thought would be really cool. I always enjoyed doing like world builder. I always enjoyed doing stuff like Blender and 3D Studio Max. And I took a class at the Art Institute of Chicago for 2D and 3D computer animation, which was really cool, and I loved it. I absolutely loved the class, and I was the best student in the class by far. Uh, anyways, so when I got a chance to talk to Magic about some of the stuff that he was doing, I mean that definitely is very appealing to me, and I would actually be really interested in helping out Project Epoch because I do have such a, I've been writing code for like 20 some years. I've been a programmer for a long time, so from a programming point of view, I have a massive amount of experience. So I would love to help out the Project Epoch team. I just don't know. So maybe that would be my way to get back in good with Magic is just maybe talk to K-Totes or some of those guys and say, hey, maybe I could help you guys out. I think that would be a fun thing to do. So anyways, let's get back to the video.
You see rare, you see dancing murlocs. You didn't expect it, but it's there. I respect that because that means they actually care. You know what I mean? So basically, this whole island is the pre-dungeon, kind of like what we just saw in Stone Talon, and it will have some quests and level 60 elites all over. Wow, quests as well. They're hidden on the realm. Oh, wow.
So that's interesting. So this island's going to have some quests and some stuff you can do that aren't even the actual dungeon itself, but they may lead into the... You remember how, like, in is it Skolamons? Which one's the one that's on the little island in Western Plaguelands? That is Undead Strike. Yeah, it's Skolamons, I think. So Skolamons has a couple quests right outside the entrance, right? So this could take in some kind of inspiration from that, maybe.
Graveyard right here. A pre-dungeon, by the way, as a concept is not something you see much anymore. It's definitely more of a true vanilla thing, so they're really staying with it, I love that. That's it, by the way. We have a good vantage point up here. This is it. Tolbarad. Now, when they said this, I didn't actually think at first glance it was going to be impressive, but I was wrong. I was freaking...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. People always think I'm a lot younger, and I don't. And I don't act my age. I'm definitely. My wife always says I'm just a big kid. But I know it's time for bed. It's 2:27 a.m. here. I got to get to bed pretty soon, or my wife's gonna kill me. Thanks, man. We'll have a good one, man.
Wrong. And like I said, I hope you guys really do know that I mean this. I don't care if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong and it's better than what I thought, that's always good. It's always good. Hell yes, dude. He said more. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Yes, of course. All right, let's see where he takes me now. Okay, he TP'd me to Tenaris. I'm at Anji Watha.
Okay, this is okay. He's in Tenaris. All right.
Southern port, and there's troll people here? It's a horde base of some kind. Up a horde questing hub in Tenaris. Yo, yes. It just makes me want to fight people out here, though. You know, if there's gonna be horde people down here, I want to get on my alliance, go down here, and fight people, man. I'm just afraid people won't turn war mode on. The thing is, the bloody coin system that Katotes has, theory crafted for the server, really good idea. I do think they should get more bloody coins, but I'm sure he's play tested it, and his version might be the right way to do it. But it's a really great idea. I just hope that you guys turn it on. Like, I'm just afraid for you guys. I know what I'll do. So here it is, a horde questing hub in Tenaris, a watchtower, a bunch of troll stuff, Nereid, the water elemental. The sea is a teacher, guiding us on our journey through life. Yes, it is, dude. Yes, it is. Wow, man. I'm so impressed by this dev team. This guy has a quest. I can't get it. I'm too low level. Innkeeper, yo, you can actually set your Hearthstone. Can you imagine having a Hearthstone in the very southern point down here? It's actually a good spot. Really, the only thing this is missing is a flight point.
That's
right?
pretty
So
cool. Yeah, flight point.
That might lead to the beach, and then I see this over here, so let's check this out. I like that the mini map is not broken at all.
I wish he would go down that path. If it does lead to the beach, I'd like to see that.
For anything I've seen so far. I see a cave, and there's royal apothecary people here with quests, alchemy supply vendor as well, shadow power elixir, polished philosopher's stone. You'll have to tell me if any of this is actually custom or not. I don't ever do alchemy, like literally ever. This is so good though, dude. So high quality. Trolls everywhere. Of course they would be. Their brethren, the sand trolls, are here. Now the trolls are gonna be like, you know what, horde, let's camp down here and make some stuff happen. This is so good. Oh, and they have an army going on, man. Orgrimmar reinforcements sent to Tenaris.
That's pretty cool that they've got like a little army and the quest. I like that on the mount too. That's neat.
Wow, man, really well done. I bet they're hot as hell though. We're in a desert, you know what I mean? Anyway, moving on over here. A little bit of water. The rush of the currents and the power of the waves can be both exhilarating and terrifying. Embrace the thrill, but always be mindful of the dangers. Yeah, I'm kind of... Oh, they do have a flight point. Oh, the competence, the competence, the competence. Wow, a southern Kalimdor...
Look at, they already have a flight point.
Flight point like this for the horde. A raptor master? What's that gonna end up meaning, dude? Can you just buy your normal mounts here? There's a riding trainer I saw too. What the hell? Robert Butcher Jr.? Gadgets in Water Co. Greater water breathing, essence of water. That might be interesting actually. And Water Co. finest mana. This dude was just running. Dude, this used to be a little shit tier thing that you could get some pirate quest from. Now it's the Steam Weedle port. Like for real. Okay. Let's check this out.
Oh wow, so
I'm seeing some mounts.
So they've put an entirely new... Yeah, there just used to be a couple buildings here where you get those quests for the pirate hats, but now they've added a whole section.
This dude was just running. Dude, this used to be a little shit tier thing that you could get some pirate quest from. Now it's the Steam Weedle port. Like for real. Okay, let's check this out. First of all, I'm seeing some mounts. I'm seeing what could be an innkeeper area. Yep. Wow. I see a mailbox. They have thought of everything. You know, sometimes these servers I play on, they forget about a flight point or a mailbox or an innkeeper, and you're like, well, okay, you can't expect everything. The thing about Epoch, though, is like I said, they don't forget anything. In fact, they even add extra stuff. You have Mickey Small Sprite.
Look at the painting. Look at the painting with the dude. I love the painting, man.
Okay, I can't buy from her yet, but she's gonna be a food and drink vendor. And then we've got this dude over here. Oh, this dude's just sleeping. This whoa. Aha, okay. Did you see a masked figure? There's been an arson attack. Nah, no criminals this way, citizen. Just a brief hello to our good friend Dozard. Okay.
Dozard.
I did not expect him to have a dialogue option, man. Also, nice wallpaper with the pineapples, bro. SpongeBob SquarePants up in this shit. Okay, let's move on. Wow, this is way bigger than I would have expected. So just so you know, this building...
Yeah, these buildings... Well, this building on the right was always there.
That building in that little harbor is what you normally see,
yep.
right? So Ideally, you'd come over here, right? You'd be like, hey, I want a pirate quest. He has it. No one drinks for free. Have a stern talk with the occupants of Steamweedle Port who have not paid their water bill. Wow. Because water is a big deal here, so you're seeing that a lot. Really nice look into the lore, guys. There's even a boat. I don't think the boat's normally here. It would be cool if
Looks like a shrimping boat.
as a way to
Looks
go
like a
to
shrimping
explore
boat.
the world with like an actual boat system, but I don't expect something like that, to be fair. This is cool enough. This is really badass. Whoa, oil-soaked critter. Huh, that must be for a brand new quest. Covered in a thick coat of
Oil-soaked
wow. Oh, there's
critter.
a quest right here. That has to be custom, right? Collect 8 filter parts from the seabed surrounding Steamweedle Port. Wow. And you know what? This area needs more quests because you know what they've done a good job of, guys? It's filling out the 40 to 50...
Well, look at all the quests. You can see the minimap. There's a bunch of quests here. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see at least 7 quests right here.
Area needs more quests because you know what they've done a good job of, guys? It's filling out the 40 to 50 bracket, which is garbage. It's always been garbage. Give me more quests.
Yeah, the 40 to 50. The 40 to 50 has always been kind of crappy. The 50 to 60s, there's tons of quests. Like when you're leveling in vanilla, like 50 to 60, there's always like tons of stuff to do. But 40 to 50 was always really, really brutal. Even 30 to 40 wasn't that great. I mean, you have like Stranglethorn Vale, but the quests go up so fast that they out level you. Like, so you'll do like the quest in the beginning of Stranglethorn Vale at like level 30, and then maybe you get to level 31 by doing those quests, and then the next quest you're killing mobs that are like 3 levels higher than you, so it just becomes like really difficult.
And they're doing it. I actually love Tanaris questing because the world PvP is really good. There's really only, just so you guys know, because I know so it's possible there's a quest over there. Yeah, this is amazing. I would have never expected. Okay, listen up, guys. I've
Final
got
thoughts.
A whole other videos worth of new stuff to take a look at during this world tour that Katoads took me on. For this video, though, we're gonna have to go ahead and end it right here. Glittermerc Mines, a lot of new Tanaris stuff, 2 places, the Horde place, the Steamweedle Port. We looked at all sorts of stuff in this video. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Epoch is looking really, really hot, and by the way, confirmed, I think they're gonna be making class changes as well, which really, ultimately, makes this the server to look at over the next, year. I think it's gonna take a while for it to come out, but still. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed, like and sub. Major thanks to the members of my channel. I love and appreciate.
So yeah, that video was over 2 years ago. But the other video that I wanted to look at was this one.
Experience. The release of the server is just around the corner.
Oh, you want to watch that video? Sure.
What is up, guys? Doubles back here with a brand new video, and today
And the other video we're going to watch is this one.
And they couldn't find a better date due to the recent SOD end, so let's take a closer look into all of the features that Project Epoch has to offer. So by the
that video we just watched was over 2 years old. This one is from 1 day ago.
Of the video, you will know if it's worth waiting for. One of the things I've always loved about leveling in World of Warcraft is when the open world actually feels challenging and rewarding, and Project Epoch really nails that feeling, it seems. They've taken the world we know and pushed it further. All zones have been reimagined and entirely new areas have been added, all feeling like they naturally belong in Azeroth. It's familiar, but fresh, in the best way. Every zone we will be going through is packed with custom quests, secrets, rare spawns, and stories that actually make you want to stop and read the quest text. Sometimes you're uncovering mysteries, other times taking down a roaming world boss. Speaking of world bosses, this is one of my favorite parts, the micro world bosses. These things are tough, designed for leveling small groups around 5 to 10 players, and they don't go down easy. But the rewards, absolutely worth it. It feels like you're getting proper dungeon loot just for exploring the world and being alert. Then there are the major world bosses for high-level players, huge, dangerous enemies that need a big group to take down. These fights are epic.
Oh, the video sound is low? Alright, hold on a second.
And the loot is just as satisfying. It really brings back that sense of awe and accomplishment when something
Is that
big
better, Carrie?
goes down. Factions are another area where Epoch has really stepped things up. They advertises that instead of the usual grind, these new major factions have real depth, each one with their own goals, rewards and storylines. Gaining rep doesn't seem to be feeling like a chore anymore. You're helping out in the world, taking on challenges and unlocking some seriously cool rewards. Mounts, gear, professional recipes, you name it. And even the old faction system have been improved, so whole process just feels better overall. When it comes down to quests, honestly, it's wild how many have been added. Over 1,500 new quests across the game. That's not
Where did he get? What I would love to know is how did he get access to all these video shots? Because like, how did he get? I mean, he's got a lot of shots here that look like they're from Project Epoch. I would love to know how he got all these clips.
and even the
Like
old
some of these, I think were shared previously.
faction system have been improved, so whole process just feels better
This one was already shared.
overall. When it comes down to quests, honestly,
This one I've never seen before.
it's wild how many have been
And
added.
this doesn't exist in current vanilla, so this is brand new. I've never seen this before either. This looks like it's in Ashara. This looks like Ashara right here. Maybe. That's what it looks like.
Over 1,500 new quests across the game. That's not just a touch-up, that's expansion level content. And it shows. Whether we will be running around Ashenvale, quests
Actually, I want to listen to what he said. They added so much content to Project Epoch that it's almost like an entirely new expansion. That's how much content they added.
When it comes down to quests, honestly, it's wild how many have been added. Over 1,500 new quests across the game. That's not just a touch-up, that's expansion level content. And it shows. Whether we will be running around Ashenvale, climbing through Dan Moreau, or exploring the deserts of Tanaris, we are supposed to discover new stories that feel like they've been always belonged to the game. On top of everything, over 150 new
Now I'm pretty sure this is Tol Barad. See this right here? I'm pretty sure this is in Tol Barad. I'm going to guess that's where it is. It looks cool. I love the scale. What I really liked about Project Epoch is it's the first time I've seen anybody modify the WoW Classic client in a way where they brought the ceiling up. Because like one of the things that I've disliked about World of Warcraft was that a lot of times in dungeons or like cave systems, the ceiling was always really low. It felt like it was right over your head. That wasn't really the case in, for example, like Blackrock Depths, because they had multi-levels. So you could be up top, but when you went down below, then the ceiling was really high. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really liked Blackrock Depths and LBRS and UBRS, because there was those multiple levels, so it felt massive. And what I like about what they've done with Project Epoch is you see like they even like the Dead Mines rework, how they brought the ceiling way up, and so it just makes it feel more massive, more epic. You know, I always thought when I first saw the name of the project that it was Project Epic, but it's not. It's Project Epoch. I wonder where they ever came up with the name Epoch.
On top of everything, over 150 new rare creatures have been added. These are actually world encounters, each one unique with their own mechanics, loot tables, and even special pets for hunters. Some of them are tucked
Special
away
pets.
in hidden corners of the world, while others
Okay, well that's really cool. I'm definitely going to be looking for the special hunter pets.
only show up at certain times thanks to Epoch's new day and night cycle. We can run
Yeah, that's another thing. We're going to need to explore the world because the day-night cycle is supposed to be faster, right? It's supposed to, go through the day-night cycle quicker than a regular WoW. So we're definitely going to want to explore each zone at each time. We're going to go through it at night and explore the whole zone, and go through it during the day and explore the whole zone, because I'm going to be playing a hunter and a protection paladin, but I'm going to be focusing probably mostly on the hunter first. And so I'm definitely going to be wanting to see what kind of pets are out there that I can tame that are new.
Tonight only spawns that feel like the mini events all on their own, and it will make exploring feel so much more alive. At the end of the day, I feel like Project Epoch Open World will be what Classic always have been for us all on release. An epic and meaningful journey where the world is dangerous, rewarding, and full of secrets, where leveling doesn't feel like a grind anymore.
Yeah, and here you can see. Why does this look better? Like I mean, I've done this boss Belgar in Blackrock Depths thousands of times, but I don't ever remember the wall behind him looking so cool. Is it just me, or maybe just this is a different angle that I'm not like? I don't remember the wall behind him looking this neat, but whatever.
Secrets, where leveling doesn't feel like a grind anymore, it feels like a true adventure. The best part is that the owner did mention in the Q&A that they are not going to release the database for players like Wowhead. They say that it's against the
And again, this is how they've. Like I said, I've said it every time I look at this area here in the Dead Mines that it just reminds me of the Goonies, like the pirate finding the pirate ship, because the ceiling has been raised up so high and the ship is just bigger. Everything feels so much more massive, and I just love that.
like Wowhead. They say that it's against the feel of the classic, and I cannot agree more. This will create something that happened in the beginning of Season of Discovery, where people had to rely on each other to find new stuff, and some of the things were kept secrets in certain guilds or societies. Many people like that spreadsheets may say it's a bad thing, but this would create an urge for discoveries and make them even more rewarding where achieved. I see this as a big advantage of the server.
That's a
When it
huge,
comes down
huge
to class
advantage for the
design in
server.
Project Epoch, I have to really give credit to the team. They've taken a really smart approach. One of the things that always frustrated me about Classic WoW was how many class specs were just plain unusable or felt like they were only half done. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, later expansions beginning from Wrath threw in so many abilities that everything felt bloated. Epoch lands right in the sweet spot. They've based their system on the TBC talent trees, which is already a big improvement to Classic, but then they took it further, adding 61 talent points to spend between level 14 and 60 so we can utilize trees like in TBC. What really stood out to me is how deeply they've reworked the classes. It's not just the number tuning, there are brand new abilities and talents added to the specs that were weak or clunky before. Even dungeon and tier sets bonuses have been custom built in to match these new designs. It all comes together to make classes feel familiar but still fresh. So we can for example see things like Bladestorm for Arms Warriors or Magma Blast for Elemental Shamans. They're actively updating and improving things. That means the meta won't go stale. Betas for sure didn't show all the balance issues, so we'll keep seeing new
Yeah, the meta is going to be really interesting.
ideas, spells, and playstyle as the game evolves. It's great knowing that your class will keep growing with the world. And then there's a racial knowledge at level 60. It's actually a super cool system. You can choose to swap your racial abilities for those of another race. So for example, no matter what priest race you choose, you can change it later. And it's not just a menu toggle, you go on actual lore reach questline to unlock them, learning about different cultures and histories in the process. It's meaningful, immersive, and feels earned when you finally get those new racials. Of course, I do worry a bit that certain racials will become meta and everyone will chase the same few,
Yeah.
but at least the 2-week cooldown on switching adds some weight to the ad decision. Professions and Epoch deserve a shout out too. They've made crafting feel valuable again. I myself am not the biggest fan of professions, but in Classic they genuinely felt like giving you an edge, especially during leveling. You don't
First off, that's the first thing he said in this video I don't like. How can you not be a fan of professions? I think professions are just cool, and they should be in every MMO. They're key systems, right? Like, it just doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't have professions. Like, when you think about, like, I don't know, for example, like Dungeons and Dragons. I always go back to Dungeons and Dragons because when I played D&D when I was a kid, there was always, like, when you went into a town or something and you were, like, playing a warrior class, I mean, you had to if you might want to buy like a new sword or something, and so you had to find like a weaponsmith or something, or somebody who actually made that kind of stuff. But to have a profession so you could make it on your own was really cool, and it added a lot more to kind of the role play and kind of to the progression of your character. So I don't understand how you could ever play an MMO and not like professions.
Just hit a button and forget about it. Getting to the top takes effort, but the rewards feel worth it. Is that old school sense of pride when you finally learn a rare recipe or make something powerful that people actually want. Another feature I really appreciate is the addition of the new class and race combos. It's refreshing to see combinations that push the boundaries of lore just enough to be interesting, without feeling out of place. It opens up new roleplay options and ways to experience the world. Of course, there also have to be optional challenges, things like hardcore mode called Soul of Iron, where you only have one life, or the challenge that cuts your exp gains in half to fully immerse yourself into the world. The great thing about Soul of
So there is one that cuts your experience in half. That's interesting. I didn't see that. I probably should look that up on the website.
Iron is that when you actually die, you have an option to walk all the way to the main city to resurrect yourself and continue playing without the hardcore mode on. Even though the classes have been significantly improved, on Project Epoch the world fights back. Enemies have been reworked with new behaviors and it can catch us off guard. Wolves, for example, leap at with lunges. Boars wind up for big charges. You have to pay attention, react, and actually think about your pulls. Even at low levels, you are reminded what it feels like to survive, not just grind. Elite and rare elites are no joke either. They're actual threats now, something that demands coordination and skill. Especially in the elite-only zones that are absolutely packed with risk versus reward content. It's a great way to push your limits. And dungeons? They're another level entirely. Mobs hit harder and bosses come with new mechanics or completely overhauled encounters. Very often there will be runs when you will have to stop and really plan your approach, because just zerging through isn't an option.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, but this is, I mean, you can see there's a lot of stuff coming, a lot of content. I actually have to get to bed, guys. It's like 2:49 in the morning here, so I'm gonna head out. But I'll go ahead and cover this a little bit more tomorrow. We'll stream tomorrow night. We'll pick up where I left off on this video. We'll just talk about some of this. But yeah, that was something I didn't see on the site was, let's see. What's audio? Audio is new voice acting for several playable races, adding more personality. Okay, that's cool. Music. Audio enhances the game's atmosphere and carefully selects original music to complement the world. So they do have original music, so that's going to be interesting. Anyways, but I am going to head out because I have got to get some sleep. I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. And like I said, I'll pick up some of this content tomorrow night. We really don't have anything to do right now. At least I don't. I don't really feel like playing too much WoW until really Epoch comes out, because we're going to be playing so much Epoch. And it comes out on the 26th, so that's next weekend. So we are literally just, man, almost a week. 1 week and 1 day away. So thanks for see you, Carrie. Everybody have a good night, and I will catch you next time, man. Peace out.